Okay, so we're diving into the world of anatomical pathology, where meticulous attention to detail meets science and makes a real impact in healthcare. We're here to help you prepare to become an anatomical pathology technician.
We'll give you the inside scoop on what interviewers want to see so you can rock that interview.
Exactly. So think of this deep dive as your backstage pass to this exciting career. We'll unpack everything from what the role really involves to how to tackle those tough interview questions. We've got a super helpful career guide and some common interview questions to help you stand out.
We'll give you the tools to really showcase your skills and passion.
Totally. First things first, let's paint a picture of what an anatomical pathology technician actually does daily.
Imagine you're working with pathologists, carefully preparing tissue samples from biopsies or autopsies. You're slicing them, staining them, and then examining them under a microscope. Precision is key here because those details could hold the key to a diagnosis.
Wow, that's amazing. Such small actions have a huge impact on a patient's life, right? And our career guide says having strong chemistry and biology knowledge is super important, but it also mentions customer service and personal skills.
Exactly. It's not just about the technical stuff. You're going to be interacting with doctors, lab technicians, and sometimes even families going through tough times. So clear communication and empathy are super important.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's jump into those interview questions. Let's start with describe your experience working in a laboratory setting. Seems simple, but what are they really getting at here?
It's about going beyond just listing your experiences on your resume. They want to see your comfort level in a lab, how you handle safety protocols, your ability to follow procedures meticulously, and just your overall lab know-how.
So it's about choosing the experiences that really showcase those skills, even if they're not directly related to anatomical pathology, right?
Right. Absolutely. Did you ace that microbiology course where you handled those sensitive cultures? Or maybe you killed it in chemistry lab, mastering techniques like titration. Even if it wasn't in an anatomical pathology lab, it shows you can handle the pressure and be precise.
Right. And you know what can help you really nail this? RoleCatcher. Their AI can give you personalized feedback on your answers, tailored to the specific job you want. So cool, right?
Totally. Having those insights can be a game changer in an interview.
For sure. Okay, ready for another question?
Hit me with it.
How do you ensure accuracy and precision in your work as an anatomical pathology technician? Now, this one feels like it's getting to the core of the job.
It absolutely is. They want to know you're not just capable, but that you're all about that meticulous life, especially since a tiny error could have big consequences.
Absolutely. We're talking about potentially impacting diagnoses and treatments here. So how do you convey that in your answer?
Talk about your commitment to double-checking everything, even the smallest detail. For example, you could say, I'm super meticulous about labeling samples correctly and following procedures to a T. I know even a small error could have big consequences.
I can see an interviewer nodding along, loving that level of dedication. Maybe even share a specific example where your attention to detail really made a difference in the past.
Exactly. Maybe you caught an error in a lab report that could have been a huge deal, or got commended for being a stickler for maintaining a sterile environment.
Love those. Okay, imagine the interviewer says, can you tell me about a time you had to troubleshoot a problem in the lab to see how you think on your feet?
That's where a good story can make you stand out. Pick a situation that shows off your analytical skills, how you handle pressure, and of course, your problem-solving skills in action.
It's about showing you can handle those curveballs and learn from them. Okay, moving on to a question that feels super relevant in this field. How do you handle challenging or difficult cases as an anatomical pathology technician?
This one's all about your emotional intelligence. They want to see how you deal with those tough medical situations, and sometimes even death. It's a lot to process.
Definitely not a job for the faint of heart. So how do you talk about that honestly and respectfully?
Just be real. You could say, I know every case is unique and deserves the utmost respect. I rely on my training, the support of my colleagues, and my professionalism to navigate those tough situations.
That shows the seriousness of the work, but also how you handle it.
Yes, and it shows that you understand working as a team is important, especially in a lab setting.
Speaking of teamwork, the next question is, how do you handle conflicts or disagreements with colleagues in the workplace? We've all been there, right?
Totally.
Okay.
But this question isn't about whether you've had conflict, it's about how you deal with it. They're looking for good communicators who respect different viewpoints and can work together to find a solution.
So, I get along with everyone, just won't cut it.
Right. You could say, I think open communication is key to solving conflicts. I'm always open to hearing different perspectives, even if I don't agree at first. And I like to find a solution that works for everyone.
That shows you can listen, communicate well, and find common ground, which is essential for a good work environment,
Yeah.
especially in a lab. Now, how do you think RoleCatcher's AI could help with this kind of question?
Well, RoleCatcher looks at the job description and picks out those keywords like teamwork, communication, and conflict resolution, right? Then it gives you feedback and suggests ways to make your answer even stronger.
It's like having a career coach in your pocket. All right, let's keep rolling with question number 5. How do you ensure patient confidentiality and privacy in your work? We all know it's important, but it feels especially crucial here.
For sure. Even though you're not face-to-face with patients all the time, you're dealing with really sensitive information that needs to be protected.
Absolutely. You're working with tissue samples, medical histories.
Yeah.
It all needs the highest level of discretion. So, what are some key things to remember when answering this question?
Show them you understand the ethical side of things, that you know the rules and regulations, and that you're committed to keeping patient information private no matter what.
So it's more than just not gossiping. It's a deep respect for the work, right?
You got it. You might say, patient confidentiality is super important to me, and I treat all information with discretion. I'm familiar with HIPAA regulations and follow protocols for handling sensitive data. Protecting patient privacy is a top priority for me.
That's a strong answer. Now, what if the interviewer follows up with, can you give me an example of a time you had to maintain confidentiality in a professional setting? What kind of situation would you share?
Anything where you had to be discreet with confidential information would work. Like maybe you worked with sensitive financial data, student records, or volunteered in a role where privacy was key.
So it doesn't have to be healthcare related, as long as it shows you understand confidentiality. Okay, let's move on to number 6. Can you describe your experience with autopsy procedures?
Now, while autopsies are a big part of anatomical pathology, remember it's just one aspect of a multifaceted field.
Great point. It's not just about autopsies. So if you're new to the field and haven't assisted with those procedures yet, how do you answer that?
Be upfront. You could say, I haven't personally assisted with autopsies yet, but I do understand the protocols and procedures. I'm eager to learn from experienced professionals and contribute to this part of the lab.
That shows you're ready to jump in and learn.
For sure. And if you do have experience, now's the time to shine. Share specific examples that showcase your knowledge and skills.
Like what? Give us the good stuff.
Talk about your experience with dissection, how detailed you are when documenting findings, or how you work as part of a team, which can be crucial during an autopsy.
Those are great points. It's all about showing you can handle the work, both emotionally and technically.
Exactly. Now, even without direct experience, you can still talk about relevant coursework, certifications, or shadowing experiences.
Love it. It's about connecting those dots and showing your passion for the field. And this is another area where RoleCatcher comes in handy. Their AI can help you pinpoint those relevant experiences and tailor your answers to highlight the skills that matter most in anatomical pathology. It's like having a secret weapon for your interview prep. Okay, on to question number 7. Can you describe your experience with laboratory equipment maintenance and repair? Now, not everyone is a tech whiz. What if your experience here is limited?
Just be honest about your experience level. However, use it as a chance to show you're eager to learn and understand basic lab procedures.
Right. It's all about showing that you're ready to dive in and learn new things.
Exactly. You could say something like, I haven't had to do much equipment maintenance and repair in my previous roles, but I'm a fast learner and I love expanding my skill set. I know some basic troubleshooting and I'm definitely comfortable following instructions and picking up new procedures.
That shows initiative, which I'm sure employers love.
For sure. Now, if you do have experience maintaining equipment, get specific. Did you calibrate instruments, handle routine cleaning, or even do some minor repairs?
It's all about showing you've got the hands-on experience and can handle the technical stuff.
Yes. And connect your experience to what's used in anatomical pathology. If you know they use a certain microscope or tissue processor, mention it.
Shows you've done your homework.
Exactly. And speaking of preparation, RoleCatcher's AI can give you an edge here. It analyzes those job descriptions, sees what equipment skills they need, and then helps you tailor your answer to match.
Like a secret weapon for your interview. Okay, question number 8 takes us a little deeper. Can you describe your experience with immunohistochemistry techniques? Honestly, that sounds a little intimidating.
Think of it this way. It's like solving a mystery. But instead of fingerprints, you're looking for tiny clues inside cells. That's what immunohistochemistry, or IHC, is all about. You use antibodies, like tiny little detectives, to find specific proteins in tissue samples. These proteins can help diagnose diseases, figure out how tumors are growing, even predict how a patient might respond to treatment.
Wow, that's incredible. So much information in such tiny details. What if you're new to the field and don't have direct experience with IHC?
No worries. You can still highlight transferable skills. Have you worked with antibodies before, maybe in a research setting? Any experience with staining or microscopy?
Right. Even if it wasn't specifically IHC, you've probably got skills that show you can learn and adapt.
You could say, my direct IHC experience is limited, but I have a strong foundation in antibody techniques from my work, and mention your experience. Plus, I'm comfortable with microscopic samples, and I get the importance of precise staining.
It shows you're adaptable and willing to learn new things.
Absolutely. And guess what? RoleCatcher can help you here too. It can look at your experience, even if it's not on your resume, and pull out those transferable skills to help you shine.
It's like having your own personal brand strategist. Okay, let's say they're impressed and want to know more. Like, can you explain the principle behind IHC?
Don't freak out. You don't need to know everything, but it is good to have a basic understanding. You could say IHC is all about antibodies, antigen binding. Antibodies latch on to specific proteins, and by labeling them, we can see exactly where and how much of those proteins are in a tissue sample.
That's a really clear and concise explanation, showing you understand the science behind it.
Exactly. You're not just going through the motions, you're curious, and that matters in science.
Okay, next up, question number 9. Time to talk tech. Can you discuss your experience with digital pathology systems?
This question is all about your comfort level with the latest and greatest tech that's changing the game in pathology. We're talking computers, software, all used to view, analyze, and even share those tissue images. Makes diagnosis quicker, and everyone can be in the loop.
Technology is changing everything in healthcare these days. What if you're new to this field and haven't had a chance to work with these systems yet?
That's totally fine. The key is to show you're comfortable with tech and eager to learn new things. You could say something like, I'm still learning about digital pathology systems, but I'm really good with computers and software. In my last role, I used mentioned software or technology for related tasks. I'm excited to see how digital pathology can make things more efficient and accurate in the lab.
That highlights your transferable skills and shows them you're ready to embrace the future.
Exactly. And, you guessed it, RoleCatcher can help here too. Its AI can look at job descriptions, figure out what specific systems they're using, and even recommend online courses or certifications.
Like having a personal career counselor in your pocket. All right, last question for today's interview prep. Why are you interested in a career as an anatomical pathology technician? This is where you let your passion shine.
Exactly. Interviewers want to know this isn't just a job for you, that your heart's in it. They want to see your values align with the work.
It's about the human side of healthcare, not just the technical skills.
Think about what led you here. Is it the fascinating world of cells and tissues, the desire to help people get the right diagnosis and treatment, or maybe a personal experience sparked your passion for medicine? Whatever it is, let that genuine passion come through.
Be yourself. Be authentic.
For example, you could say, I've always been fascinated by the human body and how diseases work. The idea that I can play a role, even behind the scenes, in helping people get answers and the care they need is incredibly motivating.
That answer shows both your curiosity and your empathy. The perfect combo. Now, before we talk about how RoleCatcher can help you craft the perfect answer for this question, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. And we're back. We were talking about that last question. Why are you interested in a career as an anatomical pathology technician?
Yeah, it's your chance to make a connection with the interviewer, on a human level. Let them see what really drives you. Maybe it's the detail-oriented work, the satisfaction of knowing you helped with a diagnosis, or just being a part of something so important in healthcare.
Let that passion shine through. And this is another spot where RoleCatcher can help, right?
Absolutely. They have this AI that can look at your answer, pick out those key themes, and give you suggestions to make it even stronger. It might even point out experiences that really show your passion or help you connect your values with the lab's mission.
It's like having your own personal interview coach in your back pocket.
Exactly. And that little bit extra can make a huge difference.
So there you have it. Everything you need to know to rock that anatomical pathology technician interview. We talked about what the job really entails, those must-have skills, and most importantly, how to answer those tricky interview questions with confidence.
Remember, Preparation is key. Know what those interviewers are after, have your answers ready, and you'll be all set to show them what you've got.
You've got the knowledge, the insights, and with a little help from RoleCatcher's AI, you'll be unstoppable. Good luck out there.
You got this.